All right, everyone. Thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time this afternoon. I'll get us through this and get you as much time back as I can. If you have any questions, please save them for the end. Write them down if you have to. Just makes everything go more smoothly if we can roll through it and take the questions at the end versus stopping and starting. And then just remember to if you are on a job site or something else, if you're traveling between jobs, just keep your mic muted till the end so that you're not causing disruption of the training call. Going through the guide here really quickly. This will look familiar to a lot of you. See a lot of familiar names on the call here this afternoon. You have the escalation matrix there. Tiffany and myself will be managing the project. We also have a group of about 10 coordinators that will be tracking sites with us. So they'll be reaching out to you today, tomorrow, or Wednesday morning to let you know that they are your contact. I know you guys all got your Excel schedules that also have a contact name listed in there. We were able to add an additional one or two coordinators at the end of the week last week. So a couple of you might have changes there, but your team contacts will reach out to you. So don't worry about that. Tiff and I will be here working alongside them, supporting them. We just need a lot of people to work with you guys to get through this since it's 500 stores in just 72 hours. Key expectations never change. We recommend that you always follow your schedule in order. The nice part about this project is we know that all of the kits are delivering directly to the stores. So if you get into a good little groove and you want to work ahead, finish early, by all means do so. Again, we only have the 72-hour deadline, so we're not going to be upset if you guys want to get done early. Always be professional and courteous at all times. You're working in a store where they're trying to help people out with their phones and their phone plans. If you run into issues on site at all, please let us know right away. Don't burn a bunch of time trying to figure it out on your own. I'm very familiar with these fixtures, as is the rest of the team, because we installed all the fixtures last year and how the security works. If we can pitch in to keep you moving along, please let us do so. Number 4 is always the biggie. Get us all of your deliverables before you leave the site. Just have patience with the coordinators, I'd say. There might be 2 or 3 people trying to check out with them at the same time. They just have a handful of photos they got to look at before they let you go. So if they're not responsive in like 30 seconds, don't be like, hey, did you see my photos? Like, give them just a minute to respond, please. And we'll get you on your way. Number 5, dress appropriately. Basically, just don't show up looking like a bum. You are going into a business place to do work, and then use common sense. Tools and materials, you'll need an MTI tool. The store should have one on hand. I'm kind of hoping that they also throw one in the kit, but if they don't, the store manager should have that. The white Versa card also comes from the store team. You'll use that to arm and disarm the security. Cleaning supplies, we always recommend you have those with you just to leave things looking pretty when you're finished. Show the client the Disney magic. You won't need much for tools on these, but we always recommend that you have a basic tool kit with you and a tape measure in case the spacing's way off. We're not moving any of the security items around, so you shouldn't really need that, but never hurts to have it with you. If you're not on the taller side, we recommend the step ladder just to help with the graphic, since you need to put the top part in and the fixtures are about 7 feet tall. We know not everybody has long arms, so just a tool to kind of help if you need it. I know not everyone will. Some of you might. Smartphones, so you can communicate with your team contact and obviously get them your deliverables. And then the installation kits, which again will be delivering directly to the store. The new planogram is shown there on the top of page 3. Again, none of the actual security positions themselves are moving. We're just removing devices and putting on new ones, and then the ones that stay on are shifting position slightly. So currently you'll have the fold 4 in this position and an S21 FE in this position. And we'll go through this in the guide, but you'll really on the left side just want to take off the 2 end devices. Then everything that's remaining slides over 1 spot. That'll leave the left side with both positions open for the new phones. The shuffle's slightly different on the right side. So I'll cover that as well, but while we had this here visually, I just wanted to touch base on that briefly. So the scope of work, we're going into these AT&T stores all over the country and we're going to set it to the new planogram. You're going to remove 5 devices and install 4 new ones. The 5 devices that are removed have to go to the store manager. Again, like I just touched on, you'll relocate what's still on the fixture to its new position. Then you'll place the new VMD items, which are the color wedge for the new foldables, the new graphic, and then you'll relocate the collar and put a new magnet on it. When you arrive on site, greet your store manager, explain your scope of work, let them know what you're there to do. They'll help you locate the install kit. It'll have a bright label on it, just like this example shown. It'll also have some verbiage on there, essentially telling them that it cannot be open till Wednesday, which is when the project starts, because that's the date that Samsung is announcing the new devices. As I stated earlier, you'll want to start on the left side of the fixture and remove that Fold 4 from the far left and the S21FE from the far right. Again, all removed devices just go to the store manager. After that, once you have both those ends off, every other device on the left side of the shelf just shifts over one position to the right. So to do that, if you're looking at page 4, you'll use the white card to disarm the security post temporarily. Then on the back side, there's the piece that the puck clicks into. That is where you use the MTI tool. It has a circular opening on the left side near the top where the light is on the back. You put that in like a key and turn it. Once you turn that, you just give the device a quick twist counterclockwise. It's maybe an eighth of a turn max. It's not very far at all. And it'll pop right off of there and the remaining white piece will retract back in. Then all you have to do is move it over to the right one spot. Again, you'll angle it counterclockwise, put it on to that piece, turn it clockwise to click it back in, plug in your charging cable, and it'll automatically rearm. So that part's actually kind of nice. You won't have to rearm each one with the card. You'll just have to temporarily disarm them to move them over. Once you've moved all of those down to the right, you'll have the leftmost positions open. And then you'll be able to put on the new fold and flip 5 if we go back to the planogram. So each one of these guys will have hopped over to the right. The other thing you'll need to do is, because you move the S23 Ultra over to the right one spot, this color wedge and this S Pen holder will also need to move over to the right one spot. The color wedge for the S23s, it's just sitting on top of the fixture. It has a couple of adhesive stickies on the bottom, but they are not very strong, so you'll be able to lift it up and relocate it, no problem. For the S Pen holder, you'll have to open the device shelf, which is accomplished by just grabbing the channel and lifting it up. And as you lift it up, it will also cam out toward you at the same time. If you can't lift it up, like you're trying to pull and it won't come up, don't wrench on it. That probably means that it's in the locked position. If that's the case, each side has one keyless lock underneath the shelf and it's like right in the middle. So if you just get down on one knee and look up under there, you'll see the keyless lock. You can just turn it and then you'll be able to lift up the shelf. You shouldn't have to wrench on it very hard at all. And while they are sturdy, they can be broken fairly easily too. So don't put too much force into it. The other thing you will need to relocate is this collar that's shown in the Fold 5 position. Currently, that's also in the old S23 Ultra position. And if I can, I'm going to get some of this stuff updated into the guide yet today, just like what the old planogram looks like and stuff. With these being the iconic launch, some of the information we get is last minute. So we wanted to get the rough initial guide together so we could do training calls with you guys. And I'd like to just put some more stuff like that in there for you guys visually, because I know that makes moving some of these things around easier. But you'll move that collar over. That's also screwed on from underneath, and there's some photos in the guide showing that. You'll move it from its old spot to the far left because now they want to use it to highlight the new Fold 5 device. And then currently it has an S23 Ultra magnet on the top of it, but it's just a magnet, so you can peel it right off. There's a new Fold 5 magnet that will come in your kit, and you just put it on top of the collar. The only other thing is it does have a USB plug on one end, so you'll just have to move the plug over as well so it's illuminated again. But that's all very simple. With popping off the two devices and sliding this stuff over, that's going to go really quick since everything's just jumping to the right one spot. Going back down, we already touched on removing the devices. The Fold 4 S Pen will actually come off altogether. The one for the S23, we told you guys you're moving that over to the right one spot. The Fold 5 is coming with a brand new S Pen holder. And I think they might already be packing it with the S Pen attached, which is also going to be a huge thing for us to save some time. But the new one is white, so the old one will just go away. I suppose we could leave it in the device shelf for backup in case anything ever happens to the other one that the S23 is using, but you will get a new white S Pen holder for the Fold 5 with the pen already attached. Um, we touched on moving the collar. We have step-by-step stuff here if you need to read through it. AT&T likes all their stuff bolted down, so the collar has these actual brackets that are attached to it, and they go into the channel, and then it's strapped down from underneath. It's kind of tricky to get it sit nice because of the angle of the pedestals, but if you fuss with it a little bit, it's not too bad. You'll just have to loosen this stuff temporarily to move it over. You can see the cable there, like I talked about, that provides the power for the LED light. That just has to be fed down through the channel into the shelf. Basically, if you look at the top of page 5, you'll see the two screws that you actually have to take out because that extra plate here is what pinches the bottom side of the shelf to hold that in place. Nothing terribly difficult at all. You're done with the left side at that point. You're going to move over to the right side. And again, this is why I'm going to try to get some additional items in there just so you can see what's there versus what it's going to be. I know I'm a visual learner. If I see that, I'm just like, okay, rip this off, do this, do that. I think it's going to be helpful. But you'll take off the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, the Tab A7 Lite, which will be the small tablet, and the Galaxy Watch 5. The Galaxy Watch 5 should be next to the S22 and the Buds, but I know sometimes things get moved around on these fixtures, so just verify that you're actually removing the Galaxy Watch 5 because the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro is also on the fixture, and that needs to be still on the fixture when we're done. Another thing that I heard, which is going to be awesome for us, is even though we have pictures of it in the guide, I don't think you guys are going to have to attach the watch adhesives anymore. I think they're coming with the watch sensors pre-attached. So you're just going to have to plug the new watches into the MTI security box after you place them on the correct stands, and then you'll be good to go. The other thing to just make sure of when you're putting the watches and things and relocating them to is make sure that the watch bands are actually clasped, not just hanging down. We want everything to look presentable. Just in case you do need it and they aren't attached for whatever reason, on this page, we also have the instructions. They just stick right to the back of the watch sensors. If you're looking at it from the rear, this little extra knob should be sticking out to the right with the cable going out towards the top. That way, when you turn the watch around and you're looking at the watch face, it's sticking out to the left as it should be. And then you can feed it down through the openings in the watch stand. There's also a nice picture there showing that MTI box back there. You'll use the white security card to disarm that, just like you did your phone stands. And then you can unplug the two watches that are going away. You'll then just have to plug the new watches in after you have them on their stands. You don't have to rearm it. You are going to get a new tablet. So once you remove your Tab A7 Lite, the relocations on this one, I'm going to jump back up here. This will currently be your Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. This is going to jump over to this position, so it moves to the right one spot. That'll open this up for the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic. You can tell the Classic because it has a bezel on it that rotates. The regular Galaxy Watch 6 does not. This is where your Tab A7 Lite was, and this is where the Tab S7 FE currently sits. Once your Tab A7 Lite is removed and given back to the store manager, you will do the same thing you were doing with your phones. You'll disarm the Tab S7 FE. This will move to the right, or excuse me, left. I'm so used to moving everything to the right. You'll move that to the left one position to where your Tab A7 Lite was. This will open up the GCE section of the fixture for the new Tab S9 Plus. The call out for this, and I'll jump back down there, but I just wanted to show it, was when you put your puck on the back of your tablet, it will have a cutout in it. And I'm hoping I can find some photos to illustrate that as well, because the puck is similar but different, but it'll still have this U-shaped type opening on it. That should always be facing towards the bottom of the device or the charging port of the device. So if you're holding it not the long way, but the up and down way, you want that cutout facing the charging port. Use your polishing kit just to make sure it sticks really good. I know some of the tablets have a metal back, so they don't need it. I'm not sure what the back of the new tablets is, so just to be safe, they're sending you the polishing kit anyway. You just gotta squeeze a little pea-sized drop of the stuff on there, rub it around for 30 seconds, and then you can stick your speed puck on there. Again, just make sure that that cutout opening is pointing towards the charging port, and take like a couple extra seconds when you're placing that, because you want it to be centered on the back of the tablet, and you really want it pointing straight at the charging port, because if you don't, then when you go and put the tablet on the actual fixture, it's going to be crooked. So just take a few extra seconds there. But it works the same way as the smaller speed puck for the phone. You'll peel off the Mylar backing and then stick it into place and hold it for about 10 seconds. The other items you'll have at that point, you'll have put on your watches, you'll have moved your tablet over. This S22 stays, these buds stay, and then you'll just have to put the new Galaxy Watch 6 in this position. And the Tab S9 and the Galaxy Watch 6 will also get GCE installed, but just to reiterate, this will be the watch that does not have the rotating bezel. At that point, you've placed all your devices, especially on your second, third, fourth, or however many stores you have. Once you do the first one and you kind of get the hang of it, I think you're definitely going to get through the device portion pretty quick, especially if the S Pen really does come already pre-installed in the S Pen holder and the watches already come with the sensors attached. All we're doing is moving some things around. You'll have to put on the flip and fold. I guess if those don't come with the metal brackets attached, you'll have to put those in the metal brackets quickly. But other than that, the only security you're putting on is the speed puck onto the back of the tablet, because we're not moving any posts or anything around. You'll have all your devices placed and in the correct positions. Then you just have to do your graphics in your VMD. Fabric graphic, I think most of you are familiar with. Put it in across the top of the fixture first, then do the sides and the bottom. At least that's how I do it. But if you've been doing these and you have a way that works better for you, go for it. All we care about in the end is that it's on there nice and tight with no wrinkles. But those are the steps I personally follow. And you will also get new color wedge for the flip and fold. So you will just take the insert out of the existing holder. It's metal and it sits at an angle, so don't chuck the holder. Just take the insert out, slide the new insert in for the flip and fold, and then you'll just have to place your fact tags in the correct positions if they have them. But this one stays the same, so you're set to go. The install is basically done at that point. The second half of the install, because the device moving and stuff should all be able to be accomplished within that first hour. We said it's probably going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours on site, because then you're going to have to do the GCE install on the tablet and the watch. If you guys have done the GCE installs before, I know that some of them have gone really smooth. I know some of them have been more challenging. It seems like most of the times it was challenging was due to the watch, and they changed how it works with the new watch, which I think is going to help us a lot because if you've done it previously, and you have this separate guide attached, the tablet and the phone have always been pretty simple because you just download it, you set the profile, and it goes. The watch was always challenging because they were trying to have us use the phone to download the apps onto the watch so that it could run. But with this new watch, they set it up so the watch will actually download the apps to itself also, which I think is going to make a big difference because it's going to work more like the tablet and the phone. So the instructions are here, and we will also have a setup here in office so we can work through it with you if you get stuck. We can even reset them multiple times if we need to run through it fresh with you. But if you follow the instructions step by step, in my experience, the GCE does work. Usually, one of the things with the watch that screwed it up the most, and I think is going to be the biggest help, is if you guys are using a new watch that's fresh out of the box, it's going to ask you to select a language. You do not want to select a language because that's actually the screen where the GCE setup stems from. So on that select language screen, if you're following the specific watch instructions, it'll tell you not to select one. Tap the select language option 5 times. And if you follow the steps from there, you'll be all set. And I know this document's a little lengthy. They had some extra stuff in here that you guys didn't need. So Tiff went through and chopped that up for you to shorten it up. But just follow the steps. And when you're doing the watch, do not select a language and you should be fine. I'll be doing it here myself too. So any support you guys need, we got you. A call out on the sign off sheet. I'll pull that up quick. Uh, it covers all the things we just talked about. There's a question asking where in the store the fixture is actually located. So you can circle one of those options. But the big call out on here is number 17. Did you hand over the devices to the store manager? We haven't had this in previous sign off sheets, but we added a little box there for the manager to initial. When you get their signature, we need you to have them put those initials in there. And that's just CYA for all of us. I probably get at least 20 stores every time we do one of these, where I have to basically go and comb through photos and prove to them that we gave stuff back to them. And it gets to be a lot of emails back and forth with the Samsung team and the store managers. And if they don't communicate, one guy doesn't know that the other guy put them in the safe. So just to eliminate all that, we just have this extra initial piece in there. So please do that. That's really the big one there that I think is going to save us a lot of pain. Once you have your fixture done and your GCE installed, we just need to make sure that you have your deliverables for us. So the sample before photos here, and again, I'll update with as much current stuff as I can. They only let us see so much because the devices are new. But we want the before photo from the front showing the whole fixture and then just the left shelf and the right device shelf. That's another one of those CYA things. So if a device was missing or something wasn't there prior to you getting there, we have the full proof. So later when they're like, well, you guys have this, and this missing from the fixture, it's easy to just say, yep, it wasn't there when we got there. After photos, we like the front, left, and right angles. Again, give us each device shelf just so we can verify the devices, that everything's in the correct position, that everything got moved to the position it should be in, and that we can see the GCE running. And then this one that we put a little larger at the bottom, that's a new one that Samsung requested that we'll need to provide. So when the GCE is done, you just go back into the phone, break the demo mode, and then you swipe up to go to the app screen so you can see all the different apps on the Android. There's one called LWCF on there. You open it, it'll actually open up to this green screen that you see here. And then right down here in this lower right corner, this little green button has a megaphone on it. And when you tap that megaphone, this screen will actually stay. It'll trigger the tablet and the watch to say hello. And that's just our foolproof way of proving to them that we installed it. And that's kind of another CYA piece as well, because we've had issues where this stuff all reports back to a system on their side and they tell us it's not installed. And then I send them pictures showing that it is. So while they're trying to internally figure out what those communication issues are, this is basically a backup thing showing that we did everything right on our side. So whatever the issue is, it's something beyond our control and has nothing to do with us not installing the software correctly. That's the high level run through. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to take them.
Hey there, this is Joe. How did you get to that hello screen? I just missed that part.
Okay. Yeah. So like I didn't go through the actual step by step, but it is in your GCE instructions that we sent over
Okay.
as like a verification step, but really the demo mode will be running and it works on the tablet too. If you tap in the upper right corner of the device 5 times, just don't do it like super fast and don't do it super slow. Just do it at a nice pace. It'll break the retail mode that's running the GCE. And then that'll allow you to explore the phone again. So then you will like swipe up like you would if you had just a normal Android phone that didn't have retail mode on it. And that'll get you to the screen with all the various apps. You'll pick the one that actually says LWCF. It'll pull up that little screen right there. You hit the little green megaphone guy down there and it'll broadcast that message.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not hard to get to. It's just knowing how to get there. Good question. Especially with that being new.
Yeah, this is Roman. And
Go
I
ahead.
have a question just regarding, I downloaded Teams right before the meeting started, so I missed probably the first beginning of it. And I was driving between jobs also right now. Is this going to be recorded and we can go back and take a look at it again?
We did record it and we will be sending this out to everyone. So yes, great question. We had that on the morning call too.
Sounds great. Thank you.
I appreciate you asking and being willing to follow up and go back on the earlier parts of the meeting. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, great. I think the device reset part's going to be really easy. And then with the new version of GCE, we'll see how that goes, but we're here to support you. I thank you all for your time this afternoon. We could not get any of this work done for the client without all of you. So thank you very much for everything you've done for us in the past. And we look forward to kicking this off with all of you Wednesday.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, good deal. So,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you.
Yep, bye.